Hello. In today's demo, we're going to walk through the flexible project billing product developed by AcctTwo. This module provides greater billing flexibility for those using the Sage Intacct project billing module. The key benefits of the flexible billing module is that it's going to provide increased flexibility in your price list details and setup, including pricing by date, by employee or employee group, pricing by the class dimension, pricing by item or item group. It's going to provide support for billing in multiple different units of measure. In addition to hourly, being able to define shift, day, week, and even monthly rates. It's going to ensure that price list setup is now a one-time task, with a given price list being able to be assigned to multiple projects in the system. It's going to provide support for automated retainage billing calculations. And it's also going to provide an increased level of detail on the final end invoice you provide clients, providing customer job codes, source data details, and a lot of additional information that the client needs. So to start, I want to talk a little bit about the price list setup. In the company, I can set up price lists at the top level or the entity level. For the purpose of this demo, we'll be looking specifically at the entity level. But if I go into project price lists, I can see a listing of the various price lists I've created in the system. There's also a specific screen I can use to import additional price lists. But for this purpose, what we're going to be doing is looking at this specific price list, ABC Company West, which, as I can see, has currently been assigned to 3 different projects. If I edit the price list, what I can start to see once the screen loads is that I've assigned a name, and I can set this as either active or inactive. But as I go through this pricing matrix that we've defined here, I'm able to set pricing either by employee or by class, which in this case we're using to represent different positions an employee might perform. But I'm also able to do it by item, groups of items. I'm able to do it by date and by the different units of measure. So if we look at this example, what I've defined here is that a foreman can bill in an hourly rate of $120 an hour, but that is specifically the rate for the straight time item. If they're performing work that is at an overtime rate, there's actually a different rate defined. Similarly, I'm saying that a supervisor level 1 actually bills out at a daily rate, and a supervisor level 2 has a separate daily rate. Like we discussed, a given employee can also have their own specific rate, different from what the position is. And as part of this, we're actually going to allow that you can set different markup percentages, not only by item, but by item group as well. So in this example, we're actually saying that consumables is a 10% markup, and so is materials, but all other items actually have no markup. As I go through the various items in here, I can click on Show Details, and I can also provide specific client codes or descriptions that will flow through to the invoice. This is especially useful if the client has specific codes that have to be referenced that directly relate to their price list. Additionally, the effective date of these allow you to set different rates effective of different periods of time, which is then able to track that when the invoice is ultimately generated. With the different units of measure, based on the setup, we're able to actually define how many days equal a week, how many hours equal a day, and so on, using the standard unit of measure and information in Intacct. Okay. So once I've set up my price list in the system, what I need to do is go and actually assign it to a specific project. So I can go out to the projects module, and on all the different projects in the system, I can view them. In this scenario, my projects are at the top level. I can go out there, I can edit a project, And on this screen, I'm actually able to just come down here and select which price list this project relates to. If you're familiar with the Intacct project billing module, there's a resources and pricing table natively there, but it doesn't provide the same level of flexibility that you'll get with the flexible project billing module that AcctTwo has created. This ultimately, none of the rates in this table will be used, though you are still able to use the table to define which employees have access to time entry on the project. But instead of having to fill out that resources and pricing table on every project, I'm able to just fill it out the one time and then assign my price lists to all the applicable projects in the system. Additionally, we do have a custom field for retainage percentage, which will be used when generating any invoices for the project. This project has a 10% retainage percentage, which means that as invoices are generated, 10% will be held out back on each invoice via subtotal, which we'll get to in just a minute. You'll be able to actually run a pre-bill report at any point in time that will demonstrate what is available to be billed. As soon as the project is set up and assigned to the appropriate price list, I'm able to come in here and run this report to see everything out there available for billing today by project type, project manager, customer type, customer, and so on, with all the filters we have available. I'm also able to run this for a specific range of time with a from date and a to date. But in addition to that, I can actually run it as of the date and time. So I can say, a month ago, show me what I had available to be billed at the end of the month. This feature can be really helpful with booking any necessary accruals related to timesheet entries. If I want to run this specifically for the project that I selected, I can just select that, click pre-bill report, which will generate an email sent to me with everything out there available to bill. So I've already created some data, some billable AP transactions, some billable employee expenses, some sales orders, and some timesheet entries out there in the system. Based on that, when I open my pre-bill report, I'll see by project, and in this scenario, the project I selected has actually two sub-projects, job 1 and job 2. And it will show me by project any AP, any sales orders, and any time entries, and any employee expenses, as well as purchasing transactions available to be billed. So for job 1, I can see that I have some materials. It's going to show me the price, and then the markup, and then the total amount to be billed. It's going to analyze the billing rates for my various timesheets out in the system, showing me both hourly and daily billings by employee, by all other dimensions. And as we go through this, it's actually going to provide me multiple subtotals. So it's going to give me, down here, you'll see the actual project subtotal, just like we have up here as well. And it's also going to show me the total amount by customer, as well as the total amount across the board to be invoiced. This is especially useful prior to running your billing process to be able to do a review, ensure all data is set up correctly, and then go ahead when you're ready and generate the invoices. So if I've run my pre-bill and I feel comfortable that the data out there is ready to be billed, what I'll do is I'll go into the standard Intacct projects module to generate invoices. I'll be able to select the project I want, and I can go ahead and click the generate invoices button. This usually takes a couple minutes to generate the invoice while the system uses native functionality to generate a staging invoice, which is then evaluated by our flexible billing pricing engine, and it's going to take that staging invoice and create the final invoice. As it does that, as I mentioned earlier, it's not only evaluating all the pricing to ensure that you have the final end result you want, but it's also going to be querying data from all those different modules, whether it's employee expense reports, billable AP, any of these different things. It's going to be pulling additional source data in that can all be demonstrated on the invoice so that the end user is able to see all the detail they might need on that physical invoice that's sent over to the customer for payment. I go into the order entry module. So now that I come to my sales invoices list, I can see the invoice was created. If I go ahead and view, out to my sales invoices list, I can go ahead and click view on the invoice. When I pull it up, I'll see that it's pulled over all the different entries I saw in that pre-bill report into this invoice. In addition to the normal fields that Intacct will provide, it's going to show me that custom client code, the price list description, the specific transaction date, which is either the timesheet date or the invoice date or the expense report date and so on, as well as a variety of other details in the system. Down here, I'll see the retainage percentage was withheld, reducing the total amount to be billed. And if I go to more actions, I can actually go ahead and click view as PDF. When I do this, it's going to show me my nice printed invoice format, showing me by employee, by day, all the labor. And then below there, it's going to actually show me all the different materials and other expenses on the project, along with the markup percentage, giving me the ability to group this data and show it in a manner that's easy to understand and comprehend for the end customer.